The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, a commentary by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. This is a narration of a lecture delivered by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar on 30th December 1994 at Weggis Switzerland, titled Overcoming Obstacles. We saw 9 types of obstacles yesterday. We considered the 9 possible obstacles in the path of yoga. There is no 10th obstacle. Every obstacle, every possible obstacles have been counted, included in these 9 categories. Patanjali is such a scientist. Just a few words used, very few words, very concisely. He has said all that is to be said, that is needed to be said. Along with these 9 obstacles, the 5 indications or signs of disturbed mind is mentioned. That is dukkha, sadness, dormanasya, bitterness, angame jayitva, restlessness in the body, a lack of coordination in the body, and irregular breathing. If you have observed your breath, when you are happy or excited, the incoming breath is longer. You are more aware of incoming breath in the state of excitement. And when you are unhappy, the outcoming breath is more prominent. You observe the outcoming breath. Total imbalance of the breath happens. Have you noticed this? Big sigh when you're unhappy, heavy sadness. When you're joyful, you're only breathing. And you don't know when you're breathing out. You're not conscious of out breath. Imbalance of the incoming and outgoing breath. These are the 5 signs or side effects along with the obstacles. Now, how do you get rid of these obstacles? Next sutra goes, Eka Tattva Abhyasa. Pratiseda Artham Eka Tattva Abhyasa. To get rid of them, just do one thing. Beat the bush. Just go on beating it. Do just one thing. One pointed attention in one thing. What happens when you keep doing one thing? Boredom comes. Restlessness will surface. The restlessness and boredom take you to a peak. Then it brings a clarity. This is the only way out. Our mind is troubled because it is dwelling on duality. It has choices, so it is more confused. Should I do this? Should I not do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then it's jumping all around the place. This, that, I. And the mind is further divided. Divided mind is misery. And one-pointed mind is joy. And all those moments when you have been very happy, if you have noticed what happiness is, it is the mind becoming one whole. It becomes so total, so much together. Then you have experienced joy in life, peace in life, blessed in life. Then you have experienced life itself, total. Duality or divided mind is the cause of fear and misery. There also you keep doing 2 things, too many things. It's not ek tattva abhyasa. It's not one practice. So what is the ek tattva? Attending to one principle, one key principle. Could be God, could be a matter, could be Guru, could be self, could be anything. But ek tattva abhyasa, practice one thing. Then you get over all these other obstacles. All these 9 obstacles can be gotten rid of. Now, one pointed we can do only if there is certain amount of calmness in the mind, settledness in the mind. Otherwise, even that doesn't seem to be possible, doesn't it? In one pointed, there is a certain degree of calmness in the mind. You see that one principle in everybody's, oneself, myself, is present everywhere. It is my master who's present everywhere. It is nobody other than my master. He's everything for me. Or, my God is everything for me. It's all me only. There's nothing other than me. Like this, holding on to one principle and seeing that one principle in everything, this is the skill in life. Our life had to be lived in the realm of multiplicity. In the world, you live with many people. Not everybody is the same. But how can you see the same thing in everybody? Nothing appears the same. No two people appear the same. But here you are saying, see one thing in everyone. Look at, focus on one principle. How is it possible? Then they said, okay, I'll give you one more sutra. The next sutra says, Maitri Karuna Mudito Peksanam Sukha Dukha Punya Apunya Visayanam Bhavanat Chitta Prasadam. Then Patanjali categorizes. See, in the world there can be only 4 types of people. One, people who are happy, and there are people who are unhappy, and people who are engaged in good acts, meritorious acts, and people who are engaged in not so good act or demonic acts. Sinful people, merited, blessed people, happy people, unhappy people, the 4 categories, and how do you deal with them? He says, Maitri, friendliness with all those who are happy. Have friendliness with people who are happy. If you are not friendly with people who are happy, you feel jealousy. You are jealous is because someone is more happy than you. But if you own them, if you feel that they belong to you, see, you are not jealous about someone very dear to you. You have somebody very close to you and very happy, doesn't bother you. It doesn't bring jealousy in you. When you think so and so is very happy and they are not connected to you totally, then the jealousy comes. Then said, have friendship with him, Maitri. Have a feeling of friendliness with him for that. See, you can see the same self in everybody, but the feelings will not be the same. It can differ for the beginner. One doesn't feel the same with everybody. Though intellectually you say, so it's myself only there. But you are feeling, since it's not fully cultured, fully established in self, it still has its preferences. Then what preference will you take it? Say, I have friendliness with those who are happy. Now, and what about unhappy people? If you are friendly with unhappy people, what happened? You also become unhappy. So he says, don't be friendly with unhappy people, but be compassionate to unhappy people. The second bhava he has given, karuna. People who are suffering, have sympathy, compassion for them, but don't hook on to the friendliness, because then it drags you down also to be unhappy. And you are unhappy and they are unhappy, You will be of no use to help them out. Do you see what I'm saying? If you think you should share the unhappiness with your friend, okay, you share it. But will you be able to share your happiness with them? Not possible. So, unhappy people, don't be friendly with them, but be compassionate to them. There's a difference here. Do you get this point? Karuna, compassion. Be compassionate to them. Don't say, oh, poor thing, shouldn't have happened to you. We do not know how to deal with people who are in suffering. We go and make their beliefs more strong, saying that God is so unjust with you, nature is so unkind with you, you are suffering, you poor thing. We even push them down, even down the drain. We are trying to pull them out of the drain, but we are trying to push them down. Unconsciously, we do because we think, oh, they are my great friends, what do I do? No. People who are suffering, do not pity them. See, there's a difference between pity and compassion. In pitying, you are not pulling them up, you are making them even more down. And most other people do this. They make the belief of a person who is suffering about their sorrow more concrete in whatever limited logic of relative existence. Are you getting what I'm saying? If someone thinks, oh, great injustice has been done to me and they are miserable on a self pity trip, they are on it, and you go and say, oh, you poor thing, you're so miserable, it shouldn't have happened to you, it's very unjust. So that person thinks, oh, yes, see, I am very unjust. We do not help them in any way to wake up to the truth. This is nothing. Many people are suffering even more. Do you see that? I'm not telling you, don't go and tell them that your suffering is nothing. Many people are suffering more. We can kindle anger in them. But have compassion for people who are suffering and not friendliness. And people who are doing a good job for meriters, have lots of merit, who are blessed, feel happy with them. Feel happy, become one of them, feel you are doing that job with them. Then the sense of competition disappears, jealousy subsides. Finding fault with people who are doing good things will go away. People have this tendency, someone is good and he's very blessed or meritorious, doing meritorious job, doing some good work. People try to find faults in them. Do you see what I'm saying? They try to find fault in people who are doing good jobs and tell them, oh, they should have done that better. They should have. At least they have done whatever they have done. You didn't even do that. And you say they should have done better, they should organize better, they should. Criticism comes from people who do not work mostly. Have you noticed this? People who don't do anything, they criticize others. Oh, that person didn't do well this stuff mostly, most of the time. Don't find fault with people who are doing a good job. When you will not, when you will feel happy about this thing happens, someone is doing a great service, feel happy about it. Don't say, oh, that person should do more service, should have done better, and he has this flaw in that organization and that flaw in this organization. Well, this organization can have so many flaws, so what? But this organization is doing so much good job to uplift people. Why don't you put your attention there instead of, oh, the organization is strict and that person said this and this person said this thing? One can get caught up in these tricks, finding faults. Don't find faults, but feel happy for those people who are doing a good job. When you will do, when you become one with them. It's like you said, if a right hand is doing a good job, the left hand will appreciate. Oh, my right hand could write this beautiful poem. You don't, left hand though it doesn't write, it should not stop the right hand from writing. So it feels that it is part of the other, of this other hand. Well, this hand can do something else. It can hold the table and the paper. This other hand can hold the pen and it can write well. So, like that, feel that they are part of you and they are doing good job. Feel happy about it. Mudita means happiness about people who are doing wonderful job. Share the happiness. Feel happy and true. And people are doing sinful jobs, sinful acts. Ignore them. Upeksha, it says, just ignore them in your mind. Somebody says something which is not true, just brush it off. It's not worth even thinking about them, considering them. But we do the reverse. People who are doing meritorious acts, we don't think too much about them, but we keep thinking about people who do sinful things. And we don't just ignore them, we chew on them in the mind. All the newspaper does, they all report big reports on somebody who did murder or this or that or heinous crimes and criminal acts. Their pictures and the whole story will appear in the papers. Of course, now people are awakening, waking up to write something positive about all the nice stories, nice things that is happening to people. But comparatively, very little, isn't it? So when you see people doing sinful things, educate them and ignore them. Not just ignoring, but educating. You educate out of compassion and then ignore. Otherwise, you take that in your mind and you start borrowing. You think somebody is imperfect and thinking they are imperfect, you become imperfect. You are no less than them. You are equally imperfect, even worse than that person. And you think that person is wrong, you think you are very right. Just look into you do even much more crimes. See, when you show it to somebody you did a mistake, remember always, tree finger is pointing towards you. So one is to tree, you have three times more responsibility. You. Three fingers at me. But if you stop saying you and me, then if you just turn inward, it's all in. All lecture could be just in. That is yoga, uniting this, a silent lecture. Maitri Karuna Mudito Peksanam Sukha Dukha Punya Apunya Visayanam Bhavanata Chitta Prasadam. Having this type of feelings, because Patanjali knew very well the human mind and knew all the crooks of it, all the bumps it has. Patanjali knows that the mind cannot have the same feeling towards everybody all the time. Feelings keep changing, and feelings can be developed. So he said, have these feelings friendliness, compassion, joy, happiness, and ignore. What do you call ignoring? Upeksha, indifference. Be indifferent to the sinful things, like this. If we do this, your chitta, your mind is pleasant. Chitta prasadam. It becomes graceful, gracious. In that gracious, graceful mind, then one pointedness becomes very much easy, very simple. Practice one thing, devotion to one thing or one aspect. Okay, even now that becomes difficult. Then he says, okay, I'll give you one more. Prachadana Vedarana Abhyamva Pranasya. Prachadana Vedarana Abhyamva. Breaking the rhythms of breath, the natural rhythm of the breath, and holding the breath, sustaining the breath in different rhythms. If someone asked you, where has Patanjali talked about Kriya? Patanjali has not mentioned Sudarshan Kriya directly, but in this one sentence there is a clue. You can have the trace of our practices to that one sutra. Here, because it is the same thing we are doing, the rhythms. We are not just breathing with however the breath goes, but we are bringing it consciously in a definite particular rhythms. This is prachar dana. Splitting whatever rhythm that breath is coming in, coming through, splitting it, dividing it, and holding them onto a different rhythms. That is what we are doing. Prachardana, Vidarana, Abhyamva, Pranasya. In a special manner, modulating the prana and the breath. But this also, your mind becomes calm and one pointed, one focused. Another sutra. Visayavati Vapravritti Ritpanna Manasa Sthiti Nibandini. Suppose this doesn't work. It does work, but if you feel that still a little incompletion is there, then Vishayavati means through any one object of senses, the mind can be still. You are gazing. What is happening in gazing? You're looking at somebody for a few moments. You gaze from all your heart. Then what is happening in your mind that there is not only here and there while gazing? Then you sit eyes closed. The mind is completely settled. Or we do the kirtan, sing. After singing, after bhajan, then we sit quiet in meditation. The mind has come to a standstill, isn't it? We are doing this. We do the grape course in the basic course. We have all done the grape course. Just take the food and just be with the food so totally. Visayavati Vapravritti Rutpana Manasa Sthiti Nibandini. It's good that everybody participate in all the process totally because you don't know in which corner your mind is stuck. Maybe you find, oh, this process is so silly. Why do I want to do this? Never mind, you do it. And you see after that, there's something happened because your mind is childish, stuck up in small little things, and these small little processes that could be released. Pravritti Rutpana Manasa. Mind. In which some activities are in your mind, to that very activity, to that very sense, it can be brought into standstill. Visoka va Jyotismati. Next sutra. If you have observed that some person is very unhappy, sad, you go and sit with them for a few moments, you also start feeling depressed, sad. Have you experienced this? How many of you have experienced this? Somebody is unhappy, simply go and sit with them. You start feeling unhappy. When someone is very joyful, someone is bubbling with joy, enthusiasm, we just go and sit with them. You start laughing, you start feeling that way. I know again this being happy or unhappy is again a training that we have given to our mind. If you have made a habit of being unhappy, you don't specially feel unhappy, but that has become a thought of your second nature. To keep a long face and complain, you feel at home. You would see this in all the senior citizen homes, very old people, because they made a big habit, a long habit of complaining. So they just go on complaining when there's nothing to complain also. And they keep a long face and remain sad. Even though you would feel why they are so unhappy, they could as well feel very happy. Have you experienced this? Don't you feel this? So this person who is aged, why can't he or she be happy? You would wonder. They have everything, they have done everything that they need to do. They've done everything they want to do. They have everything they need. And still they keep a long face. We wonder why. What is the need? Many people are unhappy because they are unable to work. Well, that is the body's nature. You know, when you're 80 years old and if you are unhappy because you could not run as long as you could do when you are 30 years old, this is ignorance, foolishness. The other day, an elderly citizen, an old senior citizen, came to me. I asked him, "How are you doing? Are you happy?" He said, "You see, I used to run so many miles a day. I used to do so much job. I used to work for 16 hours a day. Now I'm unhappy because I cannot work so much. Now, after 4 hours, I feel tired. After 1 kilometer, I feel tired. How can I gain back my strength so that I can walk 4 miles a day?" I said, "What do you have to do walking 4 miles a day?" I said, "What do you have to do walking 4 miles a day?" Because inside one feels, "Oh, I need to be fit," but the body is not listening. Inside the mind says, "I should be working before I used to work. How come I'm not working? I'm growing old." This idea, "I'm growing old," makes a person very sad and unhappy. And such unhappiness nobody can take out of them because it's a self imposed unhappiness. And with those unhappy mind, that person's getting jittery, angry, tense, all the other things. Negativity comes to them and they get soaked in negativity and they die like that. Do you see this happening? Patanjali gives this Visoka va. Visoka means get rid of the unhappiness. The sadness is just your habit. You look into your mind, and when you see, "Oh, this is a sad, this is simply unfounded, self made." The moment you look at your mind, the self made sadness will disappear. You become free of that sadness. It's just a concept like another concept. It could be that, "Well, people don't respect me. This is baseless. Nobody respects me. I'm not smart enough." All these ideas about oneself that one imposes on one makes one very unhappy. Nobody cares for me. Who doesn't care? Anybody will care for you. Why do you think nobody cares for you? I'm so stupid. Who says you're stupid? Stupidity is only a comparison. You are wise to somebody who is even more stupid than you. There's a scale for stupidity. You can get even people who are more stupid than you. Look down and feel that you are wise. Your comparison can make all the sadness disturbances in your mind. Don't compare yourself with somebody so you can be more happy. Vishoka. Make your mind free of sadness. That sadness that comes out of concepts. Do you see? Or Jyotismati. With Jyotismati Pragya is to see your whole mind as light as a flame. Your consciousness is a flame. Your mind is a flame. You forget this. Because of the presence of the mind as a flame in you, your entire body is functioning. Otherwise, you'll be like an unlit candle. See, what is this? What is a flame? How does a flame work? A flame uses oxygen, isn't it? What it does, flame uses some matter from the substance earth and then it uses oxygen and lives. And what is life? Life is also the same. It uses oxygen and lives on some matter. Just like a flame lives from the wax and the wick uses oxygen, your life, the mind, uses the body and the food in the body as wax, and then the air as oxygen, and exhibits activities in the body like the flame exhibits. Consciousness exhibits life. Life and light are very synonymous. They are very close. Like if you put this candle, if you put a bottle above it, and just the candle will be put out in a few minutes. Same thing, if you are locked in a room without any windows, you live only for those many hours, 8 hours. The candle may be living, may burn for 8 minutes. So in the room, if you are locked, you live there for a few hours and then you'll die also. Very similar, isn't it? Do whatever you do to the candle, same way you do to your body also. Same reaction will come. So you pour more wax into this and then it will burn. Food. You put food into the body and the body lives longer. If the wick has become very charred and a lot of burnt out, any amount of wax you put, still it will be put off. The wick has its own limitations. Similarly, the body, after certain years of burning, any amount of food you put, it doesn't sustain, doesn't hold on. Just like a wick, the body functions. Just like the oxygen, the flame comes up. The body is holding on to the Jyotismati Pragya. Visoka va Jyotismati. Either get rid of unhappiness, be happy, and at the same time know that your mind is made up of light. It is not matter. Your mind is energy. You are energy. Jyotismati. And then the sutra. Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. Keep your mind engaged in the thoughts of the enlightened. Your mind is like water. I said your mind is like a flame. Now I tell you your mind is also like water. In whichever cup you put the water assumes the shape of the cup. In the same way, in whatever thought you engage, your mind becomes like that. It develops all those qualities of that, which are whatever you put in it. So the next sutra that Patanjali says, Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. Vitaraga, one who has gone beyond the cravings, one who is liberated from cravings. If you think of him or her, if you think of such a person, then your mind also gets those qualities. It starts feeling that peace, feeling that quietness. You start assuming all those qualities and start developing those qualities within you. More simple. Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. Do you get it? Because mind is like air. It's energy. It's all pervading. Air does not have a location. It does not just fix somewhere. And the Vitaraga Chitta is all permeating. So that air, that cool breeze, that energy enters into existence because mind is also like ether. Your consciousness is ether, is all pervading. Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. But instead, if you do Raga Dvesh, even there, that's why it's said the Guru means an enlightened person. Don't see them as a human being, as a person with likes and dislikes. Then otherwise your mind, oh what they will like, what it doesn't like, what this happened, what that happened. All these things you go over a big trip in your own mind with likes and dislikes and cravings and aversions and anger and all these things come. Instead, you see that consciousness as pure consciousness. Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. As peace, as joy, these radiances start. Even any thoughts come, likes and dislikes, then again, don't struggle with them. Oh, I shouldn't think like that. I shouldn't have this. I shouldn't do that. Just let go. Relax. Vitaraga Visayam Vachittam. Very simple. then immediately you are drawing that energy, you are assuming that form. You should see this, you should try this on your own experiment. Now think of somebody who is very nasty, and then you will start feeling all those nasty emotions inside. Have you experienced this? Think of somebody who is very jealous of you, and then you will feel such uncomfortable sensations. Think of somebody who is doing all sorts of, who is into drugs and alcohol and who is very miserable. And you will feel all these knots coming up in your body, in your system. Have you experienced this? And think of somebody whom you love very much and see what nice feeling, sensation arises in you, isn't it? So, Vitaraga Visayam Vachitam. Putting your attention or mind on the enlightened, your consciousness also becomes more and more alive and more filled with light. That's why Jesus said, there is no other way. If you have to go to my Father, you have to go through me. There is no other way. Means what? You have to go to the Master, because Master is a solid example. Because you have to pass your mind, go through your mind. And what can help your mind is the doorway. The door with those vibrations, those sensations, and those vibration sensation manifest in that body where the chitta is vitaraga, is blossoming, fully blossom without any hindrances. Vitaraga visayam vachittam. Then he goes, Swapna nidra jana alambanam va means knowledge of sleep and dreams. This is very interesting. You sleep all your life, but you have never met your sleep. This is the irony. This is like a person lived all his life with millions in his hands, but did not know how to spend them and lived very poorly. It's like a person who is sitting on the dining table with a very delicious, elaborate meal, but did not know it was a meal and did not know how to eat it, and he was starving to death. The same is with our life. We sleep every day, but we do not know what sleep is. We dream every day, and we have not known what dream is, not understood what dream is. When you sleep, what happens? You are letting go everything. That is what sleep is. If you hold on to any one thing, can you sleep? All your identity disappears. In sleep, you are not a male, nor are you a female. There is nothing called a male sleep or a female sleep. There is nothing called a rich man's sleep nor a poor man's sleep. There is nothing called an intelligent person's sleep or a stupid man's sleep. Sleep is sleep. In sleep, what do? You let go of all your identity of who you are. You let go of all your likes, whatever you like. You are not holding on to your likes in sleep. And thank God, this one time you don't hold on to any of that. You cannot carry anybody into your sleep, can you? However dear some person is, they cannot go into your sleep. In your sleep, you are devoid of all your identity of who you are. Your cravings, your aversions, your likes, your dislikes, isn't it? You let go them all, and what do? You simply rest. You don't do anything actually. And this is exactly is meditation, where you don't do anything. For God's sake, meditation, you don't do anything. Or for your own sake, don't do anything. Do nothing and let go of all that, like you did in sleep. Knowledge of sleep that leads to samadhi, and knowledge of dreams. Ignorant people make a dream reality, and enlightened people see this reality as a dream. Utter ignorance is trying to interpret dreams, and enlightenment is to realize this reality itself is a dream. Do you see the difference? You go to any enlightened person and tell, "This is my real self." He will say, "Forget about it. Wake up." And you go to somebody for dream interpretation. "Oh, this means that, that means this." Put more idea in your head trying to interpret all the dreams. This is such an ignorance, knowledge of dreams. There are 5 types of dreams. One dream is that which comes of all your cravings, your desires, unfulfilled desires. They come up in dream as fulfillment. Have you experienced this? You wanted to drink water, you didn't for the first time. We wanted to have ice cream, but they said, "Oh, not." They wanted to have pizza, and I said, "Not today." And then you go to bed, and in the dream you are munching or eating pizza and you are having a big scoop of ice cream, right? So you wanted to go for a walk with somebody, a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you couldn't do it. And in the dream you find yourself going on a walk and going on a boat and skiing on the mountain. All these things come. Your latent desires, they come up in dreams. This is one. Desires and fears that come up as dreams. One type of dreams. Second type of dream is some stress release from the past. Past experiences come up. All that you have experienced in life, they come up as dream. Second type of dream. Third type of dream is an intuitive dream. What might happen in the future. You get an intuition in that. Intuitive dream. And fourth type of dream is a mixture of all these four. And the fifth type of dream is nothing to do with you. It is to do with the place where you are sleeping. You are sleeping in a hotel in Italy, and in the dream you experience all that Italian sounds are coming in all those strange languages. How many of you have experienced this? So you hear those people's dialogues, it's in a completely different language, you have no idea what it is, but still you see all that thing happening. This is to do with the place there, the space there. So these 5 types of dreams can occur. And the thing is, you do not know which one is what. Usually, it's always the fourth type of dream, which is a mixture of all these 5. So you cannot really distinguish that this is my intuitive dream. It could be, but it need not be. So a wise person would simply just rush them all off. Anyway, it is of no use to him is a dream. Even this waking reality is a dream. Now you are all sitting here. Tomorrow it will be somewhere else. Next week, this will all be a dream. And what you will do next week is a dream right now. Your mind is more on dream than it is awake. You have only 2 states of consciousness. One is deep sleep or dreaming. Daydream or night dream. Whole day sit and dream, "Oh, what will happen tomorrow? Next week I will do that. Another week I will do this." Building castles in the air. What do you call it? Castles in the sky. This daydreaming goes on in the mind all the time. And once you know this is a dream, "Oh, I'm daydreaming." That very moment, a gush of energy comes into you. Alertness comes to you. And that alertness wakes you up to the reality. You are awakened. That awakening is samadhi. That moment alone, you are fully alive. Only in that moment, you are fully alive and awake to the trust of what is. Rest of the time, it's asleep. So even knowing I have been in the great sleep, I have been in slumber, I have been dreaming, wakes you up. And Patanjali has done a marvelous thing just quoting this one sutra. Knowledge of sleep awakens you. There's a very person is sleeping, he has no idea. He's not at all aware that he is sleeping. The moment he knew that he is sleeping or this is sleep, he's already awake. And a person who is daydreaming does not know he is daydreaming. And the moment he knows he was daydreaming, he awakes to the reality. that very moment, instantaneous. So even you are doing Kriya and Pranayam and nothing is happening, come on, are you not daydreaming? Are you not sleeping? Could be only two possibility. There is no third possibility. Are you daydreaming? If you are daydreaming, any amount of pranayam, any amount of nothing can help you, isn't it? Because their mind is galloping on a dream. I will be president of Germany or something. You don't know how much headache it is being president of Germany. But mind goes on such race. It's so difficult for politicians to get into any sadhana cause their mind is in a constant state of daydream. And the pity is, they do not know that they are dreaming. And their dreams worth nothing really. Swapna Nidra Jnana Alam Banam Va. Swapna Nidra Jana Alam Banam Va. Knowledge of dream or sleep can also awaken you to the truth. Then says, Yatha Abhimatha Dhyanadva. Yatha Abhimatha Dhyanadva. Many different ways of meditation are there. In any one of those meditation methods also, you can be enlightened. Many ways of meditation, whichever suits you, you like. Whichever you like. Take one. Not that you do one meditation today, another. No. Take one meditation and just stick onto it. Go with it. Take one path and go into one path. Not that you do today you are in one master today, next day you go to another master, third day you read another book and you get all so confused and messed up. All ways are good, but at least you take one way and just go deep into it without criticizing other. Then you will be building in that one thing. Yatha Abhimatha Dhyanadva. In various ways of different methods of meditation. What is the sign of progress in this? Says, Paramanu Parama Mahatva Antosya Vasikara. From the smaller than the smallest to the bigger than the biggest comes within his purview of operation. The nature loves you, will start supporting you. From the atom, smaller than the smallest, to the bigger than the biggest comes within your purview of operation or life. Namaste.